What is up, everybody, and welcome to the first ever Dudes Who Bet Sports.
So you want to bet sports, but you need some advice on how to cash in big at a heck of a price. Well, if you want enough money to line your shorts, then you're in the right place. This is Dudes Who Bet Sports. Dudes Who Bet Sports, it's your favorite show. Dudes Who Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Dudes Who Bet Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Halterman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Dudes Who Bet Sports show on a Monday as we round out this. I guess this will be the last show in April for the Dudes Who Bet Sports. Wow, that's unbelievable. Papa Dude, how we doing this evening, I guess, now?
You are absolutely right. That is unbelievable, isn't it? We're
It's
already
crazy.
to May.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like yesterday was Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm doing great. I had a great weekend. I ran the gamut from horse racing to spring football to basketball to hockey. It was great. Friday night, met up with some old teaching buddies. We and our families had a good time. So had a great weekend, ready to roll.
It's crazy. I didn't know what to do because there's so much going on, and of course, many of our subscribers, and obviously, it's Derby season, and they want to hear about that, and we want to accommodate that. But we've also got NFL, and NBA, and we've also got the NHL, and we have the NFL draft. So the show belongs to the people today. We're just have an open forum. You can ask us anything about any subject, and we'll kind of answer it. And Russ correctly points out we will have a Thursday show.
That's right.
Yeah.
Russ, he always points out our mistakes.
I know.
Yeah, he's good at that.
Yes, we will have a Thursday show. I totally forgot that we would have one of those. Boy, we have a lot going on, though. Thursday we also will have a live Kentucky Derby show. So we're doing live Kentucky Derby shows Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of this week. And then Monday, we'll do a live show around the draw, and we'll all be live for the draw. And then we'll have another live show on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of Derby week. Then you'll have a live Blinkers Off on Thursday. Then you'll have live reactions on Friday and Saturday. You'll have a live show during the frickin' Kentucky Derby as well. We basically have a network starting Wednesday through the Kentucky Derby. It's going to be wild.
Yeah, you guys are amazing. I don't know how you can keep talking about this one race day after day after day, but you horse racing guys that are ate up with it seem to get new angles every day.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And listen, the beat goes on. I did a video on Zozo's and how I thought he was. Yeah, and it got I think it's up to like 6,000 views, and it hasn't been out 24 hours.
This is unbelievable.
And I'm like, holy cow, that's unbelievable. So yeah, we were pumped about it. We are stoked how many people are watching, so have subscribed. I mean, our meetings, it's just like all we talk about is YouTube and what we can do for you guys. In today's meeting, we came out and said, hey, let's go live for the people that want to watch. And man, we're just going to go live for the Derby with news, updates, stuff like that. So yeah, Dennis, you're right. It's just like the YouTube is just really on fire. And man, we asked all of us on the team, it's literally all we think about is YouTube right now. So we love it. We love coming on. We love being live. We love doing little videos. So It's been fun. Yeah. And like Russ said, we're pumping out a lot of content, and we're pumping another show today. And we'll talk Derby. If you guys want to talk Derby, you guys want to talk NHL, NBA, you send your questions. I've got a couple of questions already, but you guys in the chat, any questions you want answered, we'll answer them tonight.
Anything except politics and religion.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Politics, religion, no. Everything else we will answer. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I had a question from a loyal listener. His name is Mike Somage. And he had a question that he said specifically for you. And I thought yes.
Oh, God.
I thought it was a great question.
Okay.
Is Zion Williamson, of course, New Orleans Pelicans player who we haven't seen in how long now, is Zion Williamson the next Marcus Dupree?
Whoa.
Right?
That is a great question. It really is. I guess we're assuming that he doesn't like to play basketball. Is that what we're trying to compare this with?
So people who don't know, Marcus Dupree was a great running back in high school in the early 80s, was going to be the next greatest star. Yes, there's a 30 for 30 on the best that never was on Marcus Dupree. If you haven't seen it, but yeah, he was going to be the next great running back. Went to Oklahoma, was great as a freshman, and just kind of quit, and then
Right.
never amounted to anything. I think from a physical freak type of athlete, will Zion Williams kind of have that same story of he's not going to amount to much once he got to the pros?
Well, the jury is still out, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think we got to give him another year because, as far as I know, he's been hurt. Correct? Are we assuming that he's faking it maybe a little? Is that
I don't know.
Back to Dupree, because that was before you were even born, and this was in the early '80s. Marcus Dupree burst on the scene at OU, and Barry Switzer was the coach. And Marcus just wanted to do whatever Marcus wanted to do.
Yeah.
Switzer had this reputation of being a softy. And no, he's not. His reputation is not the way he coached. And he knew Marcus was lazy, and Marcus wasn't wanting to earn his stripes, but his ability with no practice at all or not putting out much effort was way better than anybody else's.
Yeah.
And he was absolutely outstanding. But he would not do what the coaches wanted him to do. And they ended up kicking him off after, well, actually, it was after the Texas game, Marcus' sophomore year. They got beat. And after the game, I think you can get home any old way you want to after that game. And anyway, he went back to Mississippi, and he didn't come back to campus. And they sought him out, and he said, I'm not coming back. And they didn't beg him. So the best that never was is true. Then he went on and signed a contract with the pros. And I think this was back in the days when you didn't do this. You know, it was back where you had to, well, it's the same way now. You have to be in school several years. He signed with another league, not the NFL, like USFL or something, whatever one of those leagues was. And he was playing well, but blew out a knee, and that was it. So it's a very good question. I think the jury's still out on Zion. We'll see what happens next year. But while we're talking about it, he plays for the Pelicans, or he's on the roster of the Pelicans. They're paying him. Let's put it that way.
Right. Yeah.
Do they need him? My God, they are playing fantastic. They're the surprise of the whole playoffs right now. They can do anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Russ said they showed a graphic last night. Speaking of that game, the Pelicans won, by the way, like you said, and he averaged 27 points last year. I totally forgotten about that too.
Yeah, he played last year. I just don't think we can compare him with Marcus Dupree yet.
Yeah.
Unless Mike knows something I don't know, because Marcus was lazy.
Yeah,
he was just lazy, and he didn't want to work. And you can't do that.
He kind of admits on the show that you were talking about, he just does not want to do it. Like, he didn't want to really be there. He never really wanted to go to Oklahoma, I don't think. And once he got there and they were hard on him, he just didn't want to do it. So,
and he had a guy back home that was telling him what to do.
Yeah.
And he didn't like Switzer very well. And I don't think he wanted him to go to Oklahoma in the first place. And he was in Marcus's ear the whole time, and he had a huge influence on what Marcus did. But he may have made it in the pros and been a star had he not blown out that knee, and that was the end of it when he did.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The injury as well, and Zion Williams, a lot of injuries as well. So there's where your comparison comes in. You know, they both get hurt.
Yeah.
But both physical freaks, right? I mean, both of them were guys that they just look different out there, whether it be Zion on the court or Marcus Dupree on the field. And so that's why I think that kind of popped into Somich's head a little bit.
Well, I remember when Dupree was a freshman and they played Arizona State in a bowl game. And he ran for like 240 yards. Oh, no, you got beat. And after the game, Switzer was just steaming.
Yeah.
And he said he ran for 240 yards. He could have ran for 400. They kept catching him from behind because he's out of shape.
Yeah.
And that was the end of Dupree right there. That was,
Yeah.
that showed me right there Barry Switzer wasn't going to put up with somebody that doesn't work hard. So,
yeah, absolutely. And that documentary, I really recommend it. Like I said, Russ said it. It's the best that never was. It's on Marcus Dupree. It was very interesting. You don't have to be an OU fan to like it. Matter of fact, you probably like it more if you're not, because it doesn't really paint OU in a great light. So yeah, it's very good, very good. Like I said, tonight's show is open forum. You can ask us anything, and kind of the subject we're on right now is basketball that's been happening. I'll pull up on the screen now what you were talking about. The Pelicans even up the series last night 2-2 with a 118-103 win. So an easy win against the Suns. You know, Russ saying, hey, they're a young team. You can't help but want him to fit in there. Here's Dennis's theory. I want to see if you agree. He says they, meaning the Pelicans, are playing Smash Mouth, and the Suns players hate Smash Mouth. What's your thoughts on that?
Golly, I cannot believe I'm going to agree with Dennis 100%, but I am. He's absolutely. I've said it from the start. I was a little worried about the Suns and their physicality. They don't really have it, and that is a worry. And the Pelicans are taking it to them. Now the Suns have an excuse, and that's their best players not playing, and that is a legitimate excuse. Any team loses their best player, they're in some trouble. So Devin Booker's out, and it's killing them. I tell you, if they don't win Game 5, I don't think they're going back to New Orleans and beating them. I really don't, because even Game 3, they were damn lucky to win. And they didn't play very well in Phoenix in the first 2 games.
No.
And I'm telling you, this Brandon Ingram for the Pelicans could play for anybody. I watched a lot of that game last night, and I'm telling you, he is a stud. So this series is anything but over. I mean, it could go 7. It could.
Yeah, and I remember we talked about it when we were talking about the play-in games, and we talked about the Pelicans. You said, listen, they played very, very well the second half of the year. They got way behind as far as being under 500. They never got to 500, by the way, but they made up a lot of ground. And for them to be even in that position, it was a credit to them.
You bet.
Let's talk Game 5. To me, this is the most interesting series happening because
that in the Memphis one.
Yeah, but I mean, the Memphis one, I get we liked Memphis a lot, but it seems like those two teams thought they might go like 6 games. We thought we thought would be a sweep.
Oh yeah.
Or maybe 5. I mean, if I got a gun to your head and I say New Orleans or Phoenix, who are you picking to win the series? Who are you taking?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
who are you taking?
New Orleans or Phoenix?
Yeah.
Now you mean?
Yes. To win the series, who are you taking?
The winner of Game 5.
Well, no, who do you think that's going to be, though?
Oh, from what I saw last night, I wouldn't bet a nickel on the Suns. I just would not. If Ingram and McCollum play like they played last night, I don't know whether they're going to beat them. I really don't. The Suns are going to have to get way better defensively because they're just getting it taken to them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Ingram's doing whatever he wants. And they're shooting the lights out of it. They look very, very good. I can't, you've got to look. The Suns won 64 games. You got to think they got to win in there somewhere. You got to think they're going to pull this thing out tomorrow night. But I don't know whether they do or not. I would be very, very worried if I was a Phoenix fan.
Yeah. I don't know either. Yeah, Dennis says still the Suns, but he wouldn't bet it. I'm with you guys. I'm staying away from this.
I think I saw the line was 5.5.
Yeah, I was going to pull that up here. There's
their early line, I think.
The game is now 6.5. So here's the Tuesday game. Like I said, tomorrow night they will play this. 6.5 point favorites, Phoenix Suns right now.
Well, Vegas is confident, aren't they?
Yes, and that's a lot of points for a Game 5 playoff that's 2-2. So yeah, they still are. But a lot of that line is, you look at the matchup, and the Suns are 64-18 in the
Yeah,
regular season, and the
yeah.
Pelicans are 36-46. So,
Well, the Pelicans, you got to kind of look at their last part of the season, but still, they would only be 5 or 6 games above 500. So,
yeah,
a good point by Magic Carrot. I'm glad you brought that up. Chris Paul with a career playoff low of 4 points last night. Chris Paul's 36 years old.
yeah.
He's played a lot of basketball this year. Is he too old to pull them through this? That's another thing that would concern me is we're asking of an older player who was brilliant in game 3. He scored, I think, 19 out of 28 in the fourth quarter. But he was not very good last night, obviously. Yeah. Is he maybe getting too old to pull them through in a situation where he's going to have to score 25 to 30 points for them to win? There's just a lot of question marks. And the other thing is this: who is the pressure on? It's on the Suns. They're feeling it.
Yeah,
So
it feels like they've got the mojo going. They just seem awfully good right now. So
yep, they do.
Let's see. Dennis says not too old. He's not good enough. Is that a question to start asking? So is Chris Paul not good enough?
Well, the Chris Paul of 36 compared to the Chris Paul of 30, that's a legitimate question. Yeah. I think. Was Chris Paul good enough before? You're damn right he was. Yeah. But I don't know now. Yeah. I don't know.
Can he carry a team?
Can he carry a team?
I don't know. I don't know either.
And the thing is, let's look at LeBron for a minute. Has LeBron seen his better days?
Mm-hmm.
I know we don't want to talk about him much because they're not involved, but I thought LeBron is starting to slow down. Yeah. I don't know that he's 36 or not. He may be.
Yeah. I don't know. Chris Paul, let's see. Markev says Chris Paul is the rated R superstar of these playoffs. The man who is still on his game, but older than the others for sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
I wouldn't bet against him tomorrow night to come out and play a really good game. I kind of think he will.
Yeah. Steve asks, how much will the Nets lose by tonight? The Nets are already losing 16-12 here. I got it up on the screen if you're watching us live. What do you think about the Nets' chances tonight? I picked Boston.
I did too. Magic Carrots earlier in the chat said, made a comment about Ben Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
And about his back still hurting, and they wanted him to play the other day, and he wouldn't, and all this. Yeah. Why do you want that butthole either? I just don't. The Nets are just nuts.
They have attitude problems. Yeah.
And you don't win with those kind of distractions. You just don't. And I think the Nets will be busted up big time in the offseason. I don't know that Simmons would make any difference anyway.
No.
I mean, I don't know why they made. I guess they thought Harden was a problem. I guess I don't know. I think I would have rather had Harden anyway, but I don't know. I've never been impressed with Ben Simmons. So yes, I picked Boston tonight. I just, this could easily be 3-0 the other way.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference is Boston makes the plays and the Nets don't.
Yeah,
and that's why they're down 3-0. And I just don't think Boston or the Nets are going to have enough inside them to win tonight.
No.
And even if they do, they know what they're facing. They got to go back to Boston. I just don't think I don't know they care enough. I really don't.
I'm with you. I don't think so either. And I think they'll get smoked tonight is the answer. I like I said, I think Boston will win. I also think the other two games tonight, the 76ers will end the Raptors tonight. I think they get the job done. And then this is the toss-up. Dallas is a 3-point favorite tonight at home against the Jazz. These games have been fantastic between these two teams. The last game looked like the Mavs were going to take a commanding 3-1 series lead. The Jazz come back. Well, before we move on to Derby talk, what do you think about this game tonight between the Jazz and the Mavericks?
Oh, this will be a good one. I didn't have the guts to do it the other night, but I did predict it in an article I wrote. Luka came back for game 4.
Mm-hmm.
And Dallas had won game 2 and game 3, showing a lot of guts, beating the Jazz without him. And I said in the article, I said, a lot of times your star comes back and you lose that first game he's back because you don't play as hard because you got him back.
Yep.
And those other players didn't play as well. He did. He had 30 points. What else you want? And they got beat. So this is a dandy tonight. The Toronto game is interesting too. I don't know. I haven't read recently or lately. Toronto's best player, Fred Van Vliet, I think his name is hurt, and he may not play tonight. I like that line there. It's 8 points. I think if he's healthy, I think they keep it underneath 8. I think I went ahead and picked them to beat the spread because I thought they played really well the other night. I thought they showed a lot of guts to beat the 76ers the other night. Now, Embiid is hurt. He has a thumb problem too that's bothering him. So that's an interesting game. Back to the Jazz Mavericks. I took Dallas tonight. I think they'll play better tonight, and I think they're a better team than the Jazz. So I went with Dallas tonight. I think you did too, right?
Yep.
I think it'll be a great game.
I do too. I think it's going to be a very, very good game. I think that'll be it's the game of the night for me. And, Vegas tells us that too. And by the way, as you were talking now, the Nets are down by 10. So it's not a good start for the Nets tonight. Russ wants to know, with Kevin Durant, they're down 3-0. They're probably going to get swept. Why isn't he getting slandered a little bit more like if it was happening to him?
That's a great point, Russ. That is a fantastic point.
Yeah.
For some reason, a lot of people don't like LeBron and never have. And I'm not one of those. I mean, I'm not crazy about him, but I've always here's the thing I like. Up until the last 2 years when his body's starting to break down now, LeBron showed up every night. And he got the shit beat out of him every night. I know he's big, but he's getting pounded on every night. And he would show up and play, and he took some terrible teams to the finals year after year and couldn't beat them by himself. I think he still ended up winning, 4 championships, I think, with 3 different teams, which that's pretty hard to do. So that's a great question. I would say he's getting his share of the blame in New York, probably.
Yeah. I think it depends on where you're located. Like Magic Carrots, maybe you're located a little bit closer to New York, and it's like, I'm sure they're giving him hell there. But you don't see with LeBron. He's such people are like Papa Dude said, he's a polarizing character. You either love him or you hate him, and those kind of people, it gets magnified.
Well, he's very opinionated about a lot of things. It's political sometimes because he feels like he should, and people don't like that.
Yeah,
and I think that's part of it. And then he's so unfairly compared to Jordan all the time, and people love Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is a prick. He really is.
Right.
Side basketball, the guy is a total jackass. You ask anybody. Magic Johnson, I saw him on Jimmy Kimmel the other night.
Yeah.
Magic Johnson said on Jimmy Kimmel that Michael Jordan is an asshole. And and really he is. But fantastic player. I loved him. I totally loved watching play. Yeah. And I don't think you should compare anybody to Jordan.
Yeah.
But LeBron has always been compared to Jordan, and some people think he's better than Jordan, which that's just unfair to compare him. But I think that's part of it. I love Durant too, and I was an Oklahoma City Thunder fan.
Yeah.
And he got criticized in Oklahoma City, and I just think he thought he couldn't win in Oklahoma City, and he wanted to win the championship. So, these guys, all I know is the United States would not have won the Olympics this year if they didn't have Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
He played his butt off over there, and he's not that controversial. Durant's not.
No.
So,
no. he's not outspoken on like political issues and stuff of that nature.
Yes.
Yeah, Mark makes a good point. I mean, Durant has always had really good players around him, and
Yes.
now that he's in the net, he's on the Nets. They surrounded him with good players, but then those players, they've kind of flaked out.
Yeah.
Kyrie, Harden, Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of
well, you got Blake Griffin out there playing for the Nets. He can't hardly get up and down the floor. He should have his best days were over 4 or 5 years ago, and he's playing significant minutes. They're not very deep, and they're double and tripling Durant, and he's just not, not playing. And who knows whether he's totally healthy. He came off an injury. He's been hurt this year. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They're dysfunctional. That team is. So
Yep. 2:22 to go. 27-19. 2:22 to go first quarter. So Celtics, like I said, they've got this thing under control. Steve says he went to a ton of New Jersey Net games growing up as a kid. Jason Kidd, Kerry Kittles, Kenyon Martin, Richard Jefferson, Vince Carter. Those were the days. Yeah, though they had some really good teams. If not for the Lakers, they probably would have won 1 or 2 championships, I think.
Yeah. So
they were no match for Kobe's Lakers, though. They couldn't beat him.
Well, no, there was a lot of them couldn't handle him.
No. So. Well, absolutely. Yeah. All right, let's turn our attention to horse racing and Derby talk, of course. You knew we'd get there eventually, and here we are now. And like I said, open forum tonight. Make sure that you definitely ask your questions that you want answered on the Kentucky Derby or anything we're talking about tonight. Let's go to the Derby. The big news that everybody is talking about, well, it's 2 things, actually. Taba, number 1, only going to have 1 work between now and between the Santa Anita Derby and the Kentucky Derby. Why is that important? Well, he's the only one, other than one other horse that's pointing for the field of 20 right now, that's going to have just 1 work in between. Also, only twice in the last 9 years has a horse had 1 work between his last prep race and the Kentucky Derby, and those horses did not run very well. They weren't great horses, though. Papa Dude, we don't train horses.
No, I do not.
But we have to be a little concerned that he's doing something that nobody else is doing. How concerning? Taba, I believe, is your pick. How concerning of news is this to you?
I don't understand it. Do you?
Well,
what's the explanation?
I think he's just been knocked out from that win of the Santa Anita Derby. He's tired a little bit. So
you think that's it?
Well, that's kind of what we've been led to believe. Now, what's true and what's not this time of year, it's very hard to decipher.
I know we can't do this in horse racing. We can't use common sense. We can't use logic. We can't use facts. Wouldn't this suggest he might be hurt?
That's where I'm at. I think he came out of the race and he might have a little issue. I'm not saying he's limping out there or anything, but I think he's a little ouchy, as they say on the backside. Sometimes with a horse that's not doing very good. That's how they've been described to me. He's a little ouchy. So it's not great.
Yeah, here's a horse. He's not my pick anymore. Here's a horse that's ran 2 races, right?
Yep.
Okay. Again, I'm using common sense. I'm using logic. I don't know how to train a horse.
Right.
I would think you would work him maybe 2 or 3 times. You might not go hard.
Yeah.
2 or 3 times, but I believe you would get him over that track as much as you possibly could.
Well, with the spacing, 2 times is about all you could do. But yes, the 1 work thing is just, it's not good. It's not what you normally do with them. So
now the Santa Anita Derby was the first Saturday in April, right?
Correct.
And has he had this work yet?
No, his last work and his only work is coming up Thursday or Friday, is what they've said.
Okay,
in comparison, Messier, who ran on that weekend, obviously got second to Taba.
With the same trainer.
Yes, he worked Saturday, and he will work again this weekend before he ships. Let's talk about some other horses that ran on that weekend that weren't at Santa Anita. Zandon, the winner of the Bluegrass, Worked last weekend. He's now moved to Churchill Downs and will work this weekend.
Okay.
Let's talk about Smile Happy. He worked last weekend. He's going to work again this weekend. It's going to be the same thing that I say, no matter who we talk about. Mo Donegal worked last weekend and this weekend, on and on and on.
Yeah.
So it's not great.
So why would the trainer of both horses, Messier and the other one, why would he not train that horse more than once?
Obviously, something is quite amiss with Taba. I think one way to look at it, he may not be in the Kentucky Derby. Like this time next week, we may not even be talking to him about it.
I think you might be right.
Because something's up. That's where I'm at with it. Now, if he works Thursday, Friday, he works great. Maybe this is all a race, but this is big news. This is big news. Yeah.
And go ahead.
Well, as I say, Dennis made the comment, if this doesn't work out, the owners will blame Yakteen. If it does work, Baffert is the greatest. I agree. It's a no-win situation.
Well, Yakteen is in a no-win situation anyway.
Yeah.
If he loses, it's his fault. And if he wins, it's because Baffert was telling him what to do. So anyway.
Okay, this is a good point.
Okay.
Mark says, if the Santa Anita Derby took a bit out of him, then going 10 furlongs in 12 days is going to help, right? So even if he has a work, it's how good is his form going to be? What's he going to be like when he gets to the Kentucky Derby?
Yeah.
It has another test. I mean, that's very, 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 it's scary. And this is John White texted us. He was freaking out about this weekend as well. And he said it's too late for hiccups. That you cannot have a hiccup right now.
No.
The timing is not good. So yeah, meanwhile, Asmussen working Epicenter every week since he got to Churchill Downs. He's had 3 works. He's got 1 more to go. All signs really pointing to go. But you could say that about a lot of them, almost all of them.
Almost all of them, yes.
They're working. They don't have any hiccups. I mean, the last work for all these horses are this coming weekend, so maybe 1 or 2 will miss, but they're all kind of on target except for Taba. So this question came in a lot. JL, he said, how many works did he get between his maiden and Santa Anita Derby? 4. He had 4 works.
4 in between that?
Yes.
That was what, like 2 months in between the race?
I don't know the exact time. Weeks? I think it was 6 weeks.
Okay.
Maybe 7. Don't quote me on that. I don't have his Equace page pulled up, but yes, he had 4 workouts. Now, it's not realistic that he could have that because the spacing is shorter this time. But yes, he did have 4 works between those 2. Yeah.
He should at least have 2 works. There's no doubt. Inexperienced horse like that. I think we're going to have to go with common sense on this one. Something's wrong with him.
Absolutely. And he's been compared a lot to Justify. And so I went back and did the research on Justify and his training pattern going up to the race, blah, blah, blah. He never missed a beat. He had works. He had the 2 works. He would be, since I saw a tweet from Ed DeRosa today, since 2001, every Santa Anita Derby winner has had 2 workouts between the Santa Anita Derby and the Kentucky Derby. So Taba, if he runs, will be the first to only have 1. So it's a problem.
I have a feeling he's not going to run.
If I had to guess, that would be my thought as well. And I'm not rooting for that, but I'm just trying to live it. Like the guys, we had a meeting today and they had all these theories and stuff. And I said, really, guys, it's just the reality of the situation. It's not good. I know like a lot of you guys want to pick him, but it's not a good sign. And again, maybe he shuts everybody up Friday, has a great work, and we're all talking something different. But
that's true.
It's kind of scary. The other big news, well, I'll tell you what, we got a couple questions here before I get to that because it's not that big of news. Russ wants to know, do you have a Blues room and a Sooners room, Papa?
Okay, I have a room with 2 of the walls are OU. One of the walls is the Blues, and the other wall has this window with the sun shining in and a couple of bookcases with a lot of books on them.
So when it's hockey season, he faces this way, and then
Well,
we
when
just
they're playing well,
right. And
when
then when it's time for football, he just
we'll switch.
adjusts the room.
I'll just turn the table around. And but right now the Blues are playing fantastic, which hopefully we'll get into a little bit of that later too. So
Yeah,
uh, yeah,
we will.
That's a good question.
Let's continue the Derby talk. Yes, very good question. Russ also asked who on this board is likely to scratch, or is that too hard to tell? They're all for sure to stay in. Y'all might have info. Just wondering. So yeah, I'll go through them.
Yeah.
Epicenter is on target. Messier is on
He's
target.
not going to scratch. Epicenter is not going to scratch unless.
Well, okay, there would be a shock. Something's going to have to come up between now and Monday, right?
Yeah.
So Epicenter, Messier, Zandon on target, no problems.
Right.
Taba, obviously the problem. White Barrio's working fine. Simplification, Mo Donegal, all these horses. Smile Happy. Cyberknife has had work. Charge has had works. Zozos. Early voting, I do not think is going to run. He is not shipping to Churchill Downs this week. Chad Brown's horse, Zandon, his other horse, is shipping.
That's a good sign.
I would say early voting is out. So Taba, early voting, those two are likely not to run. Tis the Bomb has had a work. He looks primed and ready to go. Classic Causeway, he is re-entered, so to speak, the Kentucky Derby picture. He was out. Now he's back in. He had a work that was decent. He's going to have one more. If he works well, he's in. So I don't count him on this list. Crown Pride is there, no problems. Tawny Port hasn't had any issues. Happy Jack is just like Taba. He did not work last weekend. I would count him as number 3 to might scratch. And then Unoho, Barber Road, Summers tomorrow, they're all in good shape at this point. So Happy Jack, Taba, and early voting are the 3 currently on the board that could come out.
And if they do, D. Wayne is going to get one in there, isn't he?
Yeah, let me scroll down to the points here.
And I read where he has to have 2 more scratch.
Oh gosh, okay, where am I at? Okay, that's the prospect. Sorry, this page is we got so much shit on it, I lose track of where I'm at. Here we go. All right, so the first scratch out of the list here will get Pioneer of Medina. So Pioneer Medina was in, and then Classic Causeway decided he's back in, so push Pioneer Medina out.
Okay. All right. That's what's going on there because I thought Pioneer Medina was in.
He was in, and then the news this morning, so it pushed him back out. So he is 21st. He'll be the first in. In Due Time would be the next in, and then Thrill Road at 23.
Okay.
So he's going to need 3 scratches to get in. Like I said,
if those other 2 would go on and enter.
Correct. 99% sure early voting's not going to go. So Pioneer Medina, I think, will get in.
And would In Due Time go ahead and enter, or would they just not?
You can have 3 also eligibles, so they would probably put these 3 on the also eligible list. Yeah.
You don't think In Due Time would just say, no, we're not going to mess with it?
It's possible. Sometimes they do that. They say, well, if we're not in so I mean, at Thrill Road, I think at the end of the day, he's going to come up 1 spot short.
Okay.
He'll be the 21st horse. And you never know. He might get in. Things can happen between now and when they enter that gate. And so horses that I said, hey, they're on target. They're not going to scratch as of right now, but it can all change with a poor work or a bad step or whatever you want to talk.
So, right. Yeah. Somebody could get hurt. Could spike a fever.
Yep.
There's all kinds of stuff. Now, we do know probably this. The 2 horses that came from Japan are in.
Well, yeah. One Japan and one the UAE Derby horses, 1-2 runners. Yeah, they're at Churchill. Yeah. Summers tomorrow is there. And Crown Pride also there. These 2 horses, as long as they don't take a misstep at Churchill, they're going to be in.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going here. Steve says Epicenter isn't that fast early. I'd be concerned if he draws near the rail. 100%. That is my number 1 concern.
It doesn't matter if you're fast or not. If you draw near the rail, you're in trouble.
Yeah, you're going to be in big trouble. So, let's see what else we could do here. Oh yeah, so JL on the Taba thing, awful telling in my opinion. Yes, more time between. It just seems awfully tough. So with Taba, if all that's wrong with him is, he's tired, the extra 2 weeks to prepare for the Preakness, he could still make that race. So don't totally forget about him. Is this something that convinces early voting to run? I think early voting with the addition of Classic Causeway hurts early voting chances. Now Taba being out would help. So I just don't think they're ready. They're ready to run him. I think they're going to go Preakness. I really do. And that makes sense. Early voting, I don't think he's great. You go to the Preakness, you're going to get probably an easier field. You're going to get an easier pace. To me, it makes sense.
Much smaller field.
Yeah.
Normally.
Yeah. Dennis speculates that Classic Causeway won't be in it. We'll see. The work this weekend is supposedly going to tell the tale. I will tell you, Dennis, I don't know if I should say that or not. Yeah, I'll go ahead and say it. He didn't tell me not to. I got an email from the owner of Classic Causeway, and they're pretty fired up to run. So I think he will be in. Take that for what it's worth. He obviously the trainer's gonna have to make that decision, but they seem excited.
Yeah.
Chad losing Manny Franco aboard early voting to Zozos. That kind of tells you the early voting is probably not going to be there. So yes, Manny Franco on Zozos. And I know people are not happy about that, but them's the breaks. What odds will Happy Jack be in the Derby? 90-1. He's in, but he needs 19 to fall over. What price would you bet Happy Jack, Papa Dude?
Would I bet him?
Yeah.
I wouldn't bet him at all.
Yeah, I know.
No.
Yeah. Here's the deal. Yes, in due time, a little bit. I agree. It doesn't sound like they really want to run. So if you get now we get one scratch. Pioneer Medina's in. Let's assume in due time isn't going to run. I think Ethereal Road.
Well, and there's no doubt if he gets a chance, he's going to be in it.
Yeah.
D. Wayne will put him in it.
Yeah, 100%.
He didn't run too bad the other day.
No, he didn't at all. Which of those horses most likely to win a Pat Day Mile? I've been asked that a couple times. I really just need to see the field. I'm not sure on that as of yet. I have a feeling, depending on where they put the races, and I think it'll be in the late pick 4, the Pat Day Mile. That's probably going to be the race I go the deepest. It seems like that's going to be pretty wide open. Just my thought on that one. Let's see. Do you have any more? Papa Dude, do you watch Hong Kong racing?
Is that a legitimate question?
Yes. Yeah, it's a legitimate thing. Yeah.
I don't watch anything in Hong Kong. No.
Yeah.
Or China or Japan.
Yeah.
Or any other country but the United States as far as horse racing goes. I don't pay attention to the rest of it.
No. News on Crown Pride. Crown Pride is working out great, which means nothing to Aaron and I. Yeah, Mark says, and I hope they bet him down. Yeah, I do too. He's got the Japanese thing that people are going to want to bet, and supposedly he's working well. So, what about Crown Pride for you? Is that one you're even going to consider?
No.
Yeah,
he's from Japan.
Yeah,
don't bet horses that aren't from the United States. I just don't.
So funny when you did the Breeders' Cup stuff.
I know. I wouldn't bet any of them.
So we get on there and we've got all the European horses, and Samich looks at yours and he's like, I guess Papa Dude's taking a stance against all the Euros.
No, I don't bet. It's against the rules for them to come over and win here. No.
Oh gosh, yeah. We got a great laugh.
I just don't. No.
We got a great laugh out of that one. Let's see. How many times can you yes and no in entering the Derby? As many times as you want until it's time to enter. Like, let's pretend let's just throw Corniche out there who has enough points to qualify. If they come out entry day and say, hey, we want to enter him, you can't leave him off because he earned enough points. Now they've performed it, and obviously he's not going to run, but you can say yes and no all the way up until it's time to enter on Monday. So
you mean to tell me this list right now of the 20, he could bump somebody out because he has more points if he decides he wants to run?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be darned.
Yeah, I think he's got like 30 points, which would put him.
Well, that's what happened. Classic Causeway knocking out Pioneer of Medina.
Correct. So you see right here, about 3 weeks ago, they said we're going to pass on the Derby.
Yeah.
Classic Causeways connections. And then today they said, "No, I think we're going to run." So he had earned 66 points.
Right.
So if you looked at this before yesterday, his name wasn't even on there because they
Right.
just took him off. Now he's on there and he's bumped somebody out.
Somebody else off.
Yeah.
Okay.
It happened with Jerry Hollendorfer, trained horse. He ended up getting fourth. It was in 2018. Can't think of the horse's name, but it happened with him. He was a last minute kind of entry and knocked one out that thought that they were going to run. So yeah, pretty crazy. Any news about Life is Good? So Life is Good, obviously Pegasus winner, Breeders' Cup Mile winner last year, Dirt Mile winner. Went over to Dubai, didn't run very well, off the board. Not going to the Met Mile. Going to take a little bit of time off. Take their time with him. He's pointing to the Whitney at Saratoga. So Whitney at Saratoga for Life is Good.
I believe that would say he's got an injury too.
Well, yeah, I think something's wrong with him.
Yeah.
I think that's why he lost over there, to be honest. I'd say he's got a little issue. He had an issue as a 3-year-old, caused him to miss a ton of time, and he might have that issue again. We'll see on that. Crown Pride, no thanks. Crown Royal Apple, absolutely, Mark says. I know Kelby Von Hemel would agree. He drank a whole bottle of Crown Royal Apple at Jared Welch's wedding, and it was pretty funny.
He might be down in one right now.
He might be down in one or two. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? You could never know. But yeah, that's the best part of that wedding. Him drinking all the Crown Apple. So he goes to. Let me tell you a Kelby story. He goes to a wedding that's open bar. It's self-explanatory. Why would you bring your own alcohol? And he brought a bottle of Crown Apple. It's an open bar. He said, but I like Crown Apple.
I was afraid they wouldn't have it.
That makes sense. Yeah. He got a glass that lights up green too. Anyway, it's a whole thing. Let's see. Do you both break out the recipe for mint juleps for Derby Day? No, they're disgusting. They're disgusting. They're the grossest thing I've ever had. Yeah.
Awful.
They have a bar in the press room. It's a huge room for the Kentucky Derby. And I thought, I'll try one. Oh, disgusting. Really bad. Really bad. Papa Dude, we need your mock draft. Have you done it?
Well, maybe I ought to work on that.
Maybe that's a Thursday show.
Golly, that was. I do think there's going to be some trades. Now that you brought that up, JL, Baker Mayfield's going to have to go somewhere. And I think there might be some trades involved with him. So I'm kind of looking for that. I just think Cleveland's got to get rid of him. I mean, they've got to do something with him.
Yeah.
They can't have two quarterbacks and pay him that kind of money. So
yeah,
I think something's in the works.
I agree. Vicky says Derby drink of choice. I don't know what that is. Vove? I'm not fancy, Vicky. I don't know. I've never had that. What is it? Explain what it is.
I don't know a lot of drinks. Just give me a Bud Light. That's about all I.
It looks like champagne of some sort by the. I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
But I would try it, Vicky. I definitely would try it. So,
Russ, are you going with the kid from Michigan as the number one choice?
Yeah, Russ said he posted his mock draft. Give us your top 5, Russ. Put them on there.
Yeah.
Whole lot of line movement today for the number 1 pick.
Okay. Surely.
Oh, champagne. Okay. All right. Okay.
Well, no wonder we don't know what that is.
No, I don't drink that very often.
No.
As a never. But if we win a lot on the Derby, we'll have some.
French for widow. Okay.
French for widow. Now, why would it be called that, Vicky? Oh, a bottle at Saratoga. That sounds great. Yes.
I cannot drink wine. It just makes me sick.
I don't like it very well. Champagne's okay, but I don't like wine.
Wine just makes me ill.
Yeah.
I just don't like it much at all. Moscato, I can kind of drink, but that's about it. It just, it hurts going down. It's just yuck. I just don't like it at all. And I love grapes.
Yeah, I don't know.
JL football had 15 of the 32 picks right. You need to be on ESPN, buddy.
Oh, look at this. I work in football, had 15 of 32 picks right last year, 26 of 32 first-round players in total. My mock draft yet this year. I have no clue. Wild this year. Hutch isn't going number 1, Russ, according to JL. I'll be completely honest. I haven't even looked or thought about the NFL
I
draft.
did look at it because you kind of last Thursday some people were mentioning it, so I did kind of look at it. So I got a little bit of an idea. Anyway,
there you go. That's who Russ has got number 1. Ekwonu. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a clue.
Know who that is. Who is he? Seriously.
Hold on. I heard a sneaker late first rounder, Ray Finkel, kicker from Miami. He's solid with the laces out, Dan. You even know what that reference means?
Yes, I do that. I got that. But I don't know who this other dude is.
You got me. Magic Carrot says, I've got Ryan Leaf in the first round.
Who do you guys think's the first quarterback?
The first quarterback. I know who it would be for me.
There are not a lot of really good ones.
I like the kid from Pittsburgh a lot.
That's who I would pick first.
Kenny Pickett, yeah.
Yeah, I like the kid at Mississippi too.
Yeah, I do too.
If he's healthy.
Yeah.
I think he's a gamer. I like the way he plays. The kid at Cincinnati will be drafted, I don't think, first round. Probably not.
Yeah.
And then the kid at North Carolina, who kind of got downgraded a little bit because he played on a crappy team.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'll answer this one while we're kind of going back and forth here. Vicky asks, "What's your biggest learning from Keeneland so far this meet? Any insight that has informed your capping?" Okay, before probably 2 days ago, which would have been 2 racing days ago, maybe Saturday. The track really changed Saturday and Sunday, but really it was. It's never easy. I'm not going to use that word, but you kind of wanted horses on or near the lead on the dirt, and you wanted horses coming from behind on the turf. And it played that way almost the whole meet. It really changed Saturday and Sunday. And so now, your track biases that played that whole meet aren't really there. So that was the biggest thing. I think the biggest takeaway from when the track was playing like that, Vicky, a horse like Mason for Chad Brown that lost. I don't think that horse is going to lose again, right? Things like that is what I took away from it long term. But, Keeneland is its own monster a lot of times. And a lot of times how that track plays and how horses do there, it doesn't necessarily equate once they're gone. It's kind of its own little thing. Keeneland to Churchill form doesn't always hold up. Each Kentucky circuit is kind of its own little niche, and that's how you have to kind of handicap those. So obviously Turfway and Kentucky Downs, clearly they would be their own little niches. They're completely different, but Keeneland and Churchill, it's kind of its own thing. The turf is going to play completely different at Churchill this year. It's a new turf course, and Churchill's dirt course is extremely different from Keeneland. So that's kind of the biggest thing. Don't take all that form and think it's going to translate, to Churchill. It's probably not. So, but yeah, track bias was pretty clear. And now it kind of seems like maybe it's playing fair, kind of just handicapping and trying to pick the best horse the last 3 days. And it maybe kind of ignoring the bias that we kind of rode for the first 2 weeks of the meet. That's the best answer I could give you as of now. Who knows? Something could pick up Wednesday. We'll keep an eye on it. Let's see. I don't trust any quarterback this year, especially in the first round. I get that.
Yeah, they're not any real standouts, but I think this kid from Pittsburgh, is going to be a good one. And it would make sense for the Steelers to get him. That would be pretty cool for them.
Yeah. Yeah. So Russ says Pickett would love to see the stay in Pittsburgh, but somebody will probably move up for him.
Yeah, I don't think he'll last that long. Mm-hmm. Somebody was saying an offensive lineman will go first. Is there a more boring pick than an offensive lineman as your number one choice?
Yeah.
That is all. The fans always hate that.
Yeah.
They hate that.
Yeah,
When
for
you do
sure.
that, even though an offensive lineman is pretty important, they hate it when you don't get a running back or a wide receiver or a defensive pass rusher or something of that effect in the
Mhm,
first round, or your
mhm.
number one choice.
Yeah, Vicky said, back to like I said, we're doing it all. Back to Keeneland here. She
And
said,
it's
so
back and
true.
forth.
Gave some back Saturday, Sunday. Sunday for me for sure. Saturday was like not great by any means, but Sunday, Vicky, I never could have got those races right on Sunday ever. I would, when you have a bad day, you go back and you look, and it's like, I don't need to look at this. I couldn't have done anything. Like there's nothing I could have done. So that
Yeah.
happens sometimes. It just happens. It's been a very good meet. I know you've had a good meet as well, and sometimes it doesn't go your way, and that's what Sunday really was for me. So
Well, that's the way I was with basketball Saturday. I missed
yeah,
every one of them, and I could have got every one of them. The games were just nip and tuck, and I didn't get them. And you just ask yourself, what happened? Well, you came out on the short side of close games, and it just happens.
Sunday I ran second and third a lot,
Yeah.
a lot.
Well, I've kind of got this way too, especially listening to you. If I bet a horse race and a horse wins that I didn't even think about picking, I just
Mhm.
blow it off
Yep.
because I got
Well,
confidence enough in myself to read a form that when one comes, it's just like the Oakland handicap
yep.
Last Samurai one Saturday.
Yep.
Just got to give it to him. I never even considered that horse. Never in my wildest dreams. You just got to give it to him. He's got to blow it off and say, "Hey, more power to you." I never would have considered that horse. So
100%. 100%.
I saw where Dennis got frustrated. I saw on Twitter, and he was done.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
course, it lasted about 30 minutes. But anyway,
Yeah.
and everybody was giving you pats on the back, Dennis. So you got a lot more friends than I thought you did. And I almost commented too, but I knew you'd be back in 30 minutes.
Yeah, I saw it too, and I said, he'll be back tomorrow.
He'll be
No
back.
big deal.
But it is so frustrating when I
Well,
pick these games every night, and you do too.
mhm,
And Major League Baseball, oh my God, that's just a crapshoot.
total.
And there's no way. And so you pick them every night, and I'm telling you, it ain't easy. It's not easy doing this,
Hmm.
every day. And
Oh,
these games are tough. I took like Saturday, I went 11-1 in hockey, and yesterday I went 4-7.
yeah.
And I was using the same techniques as I did the day before. So
That's
it's tough.
that's the hardest thing about it, and trust me, it never gets any easier the longer you do it. You know, most of our people that buy picks or look at our free picks, they realize,
Not realistic.
yeah, but it's painful because sometimes somebody will buy for the first time, or maybe they followed us for a couple days on the free picks, and they're like, "You guys are awful. It's the worst. I can't believe I've ever looked at what you've done. You're the worst." And I always email back the same time or the same thing, and it's just like, that's anything you do, you just can't win every day. I'm sorry, but you can't predict these things sometimes. And
No.
some people understand, and some people just tell you to f off, and it is what it is. But it's tough. It's tough.
Well, the people that are getting on us or on you, they've never sat down and handicapped it. They're buying your picks because they're too damn lazy to do it themselves.
Yeah.
Because if you've sat down and done this day after day, like a lot of us have done, you know what horse racing is. There's some days you just simply cannot get them. You
And
just
and our most successful people, they use us, but they also handicap, and they understand.
those kind do.
They've
It's
looked
not-
at the form and they're like, "Well, hell, how could he have picked that?
Absolutely.
How could I have picked? How could it anybody?"
Those kind aren't the ones griping.
Yeah, exactly. And
It's
like,
the ones that don't know nothing that are griping.
and Vicky makes a very good point. She says her son always says, when you pick a bad horse, it's like a bad golf shot. Shake it off, move on to the next.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And that's the way with sports too. I mean,
Oh yeah.
you pick a bad one, you just have to shake it off.
Well, I tell you too, and I sometimes when I'm like tonight, I was pretty undecided. I didn't have a really good feeling on any games tonight, to be honest.
Yeah.
And so there's a couple of guys I read online and respect, and they miss more than I do.
Right. Yeah.
And they just come right back the next day like nothing's happened, and boom, they start in again, and that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Because it's tough. It is tough doing these things.
It's tough. Yeah.
So,
But
anyway.
it's what makes it rewarding when you win. It's like Vicky hit a nice pick six. I can't remember what day it was now.
Oh, yeah.
They all run together. Justin from Twitter hit that one at Evangeline for 12K the other night. I mean, that's the good stuff, and that's what makes it worth it for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what you're shooting for, and that's why I'm up at 5 a.m. handicapping, because that's what we're trying to get. We're trying to get those winners, and to make the best decisions possible. And like I said, sometimes, like Last Samurai in the Oakland handicap, it's just like I don't know what diagram, racing form, computer program. Like there's nothing that's going to get me to that horse.
No,
it's just not. So
no, yeah, it's just the way it is.
Yep. Anyway, we went on a tangent there.
I'll sit there and I'll make these picks, and there are probably 5 people reading them. But anyway, I sit there and make these picks, and I take it personal when I miss them. And I know you do. I just get pissed off. How could I have missed that?
Yeah.
Now, some of them I don't. Like yesterday, the Penguins played the Flyers.
Yeah.
Flyers are god-awful.
Mm-hmm.
Penguins are fighting for the playoffs. They're in the playoffs, but they're trying to stay in third place.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. Philly just beats the crap out of them.
That happened in hockey a lot.
Yeah, I just throw that away. That doesn't bother me at all.
No.
It's those close ones where I'm a little undecided that bothers me.
Yeah, we were talking about, we're going to do a video on what's the one horse in the Kentucky Derby that's just going to make you mad if that horse wins.
Yeah.
And that's the ones like for me, my answer, spoiler alert, you can still watch the video to get the other people, but here's mine, Cyberknife. Because I'm never on the right side. He's cost me pick fives when he loses, and then I'll go against him and he wins, and that's just how it's been. And if he improves and wins the Derby, you're like, wow, a horse I've followed since he was a 2-year-old, since he made his first start, and I liked him, and he just beat me. Like, he would be awful. But if Tiz the Bomb wins, even though it's the Kentucky Derby, I'm not going to care. I'm just going to be like, well, I would never pick him. So.
Well, I'd tell you what a good buddy of mine said about handicappers, and I shouldn't say this because you guys make a living doing it. He said if they know so much, they wouldn't be handicapping. They would be rich.
Well,
and I would say that you know a heck of a lot more than most people, and that's why they trust you. Mark, that was funny. Mark, of course, he's always got to get me going here.
That's funny. Yeah, that is funny.
Well,
Dennis never bet Cyberknife, and I every time.
Yeah. Another good one too, Mark, is trying to explain the NHL playoffs. If 2 teams finish in a tie, like the Blues and the Wild might, the Wild will have like 3 more wins than the Blues. You would think they would get in.
Yeah,
that's not how that works either.
Yeah, right.
It's regulation wins in regulation. That's the tiebreaker, and the Blues would have more than the Wild if they finished in a tie. But anyway,
yeah. Well, the Blues win every night, and so does Minnesota. So
you're right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You're doing okay. I shouldn't. That was dumb. But anyway, I just got to check there, and I don't know whether we want to do this or not, but somebody texted me, wanted to know who our favorite horses are.
Yeah. Right. We were going to close the show with this. Yep.
You want me to go first?
Go ahead.
Well, Zenyatta is number 1. And you guys in the chat now, come on.
Yeah.
Give us yours.
This is not who's the best. This is personal favorites.
These are your favorite horses. These could be horses that I would never have heard of, but Aaron, I'm sure, would have. They don't have to be the best.
Yeah.
Okay. But my first 2 are the best, or some of the best. I got Zenyatta number 1, Curlin number 2. No question about that. A horse that I love because it ran at Oakland so much is Whitmore.
Yeah.
That's my 3rd. And I loved Rated R Superstar. I still do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to think of a 5th one. I'm trying to think of a zinger. One of these that just has run and run. Oh, I know. Welder.
Welder.
Be my 5th one. And that horse, for those of you that don't know, is an Oklahoma bred. And we've mentioned that horse before on here. And Welder was a give-in, just a throw-in at a sale. They said, hey, why don't you take that one too? No. The buyer said, hey, can we have that horse too? They said, sure, take it.
Yeah.
They gave nothing for it. Ended up being a millionaire. A cool horse, just a cool horse. Those are the kind I like.
Yep.
Okay, Aaron, go for yours.
I will go Curlin 1, Zenyatta 2, American Pharaoh 3, Rachel Alexandra 4. And I'd really have to think about the 5th. There's so many.
Oh, yeah.
I'd really have to think about that 5th one.
Yeah. Do you remember a horse? It was a claiming horse. Chris Richard and Maggie Moss had it and won like 8 in a row.
Out of tune.
Well, that one was a really good one.
Yeah.
No, this one ran at Oaklawn and won 2 or 3, then went to Prairie Meadows and just swept it all. Elizabeth Rules. Elizabeth something. Elizabeth, I want to say Elizabeth Rules.
Was it Elizabeth Park?
Could have. I know Elizabeth's in there somewhere.
She'd win those 2 furlong races.
Yeah, and loved her. I love that horse too.
Yeah, I can see her.
She was a sprinter, and she could flat go.
Gosh, yeah, I cannot think.
I think you may be right. I think now that I think about it, I believe it is Elizabeth Park.
All right, watch me live on air here. Search this horse. Let's see if I can find that.
That's just a horse that I would bet every time. Finally, she kept winning so many that you couldn't win any money on her. But then there was a little horse that Scott Becker had named Palanca City. I loved it.
Yeah, I loved Palanca City. I don't think it's Elizabeth. Oh, here it is. She won 1, 2, 3, then lost 1, 4, 5, 6, 7. She won 6 out of 7.
Okay.
And then she lost again, so 6 out of 8. So she went 8 out of 10.
That's pretty good for an old claimer. Yeah. And then
I really liked Alsvid. He was kind of one.
Oh, yeah, he was cool.
And Apprehender.
That was another Richard horse that was great.
Yeah, Nick's Go. He really grew on me last year.
Now we're going Matoli.
Yeah, Matoli's a great one. Justify would have been there, but now after all that, he's kind of dropped off.
I got to put Jackie's Warrior in there now. Oh, Latruska is fast becoming one of my favorites.
Monomoy Girl.
Beautiful horse.
Certainly one. Yeah, certainly one. There's some in the chat here. Winning Colors. He was, she, I guess, was a great one. Rachel, Best Actor. Who is this?
That was Sandy's wanting us to do a Best Actor one.
Oh, who's the Best Actor? Gotcha. I thought it was the name of the horse. Thought you may have won money on Best Actor. Rachel Alexandra, as far as a fan, and then as a gambler, the horse that taught me how to really fall in love with gambling. Potomac River. So there's his kind of random one. Okay. Davy Cleveland, Cowboy Mischief, Welder, and Cold Front. Cold Front was cool for sure.
You know what? Now that I think about it, Aaron, I think that's a horse she bet on down there the other day. I think his name was Best Actor.
I'm 99. There is a horse named Best Actor. That's why I thought.
It was that one. Yep.
Mark says Rachel Alexandra, Curlin, Zenyatta, Tisnow, a very good one. Lost in the Fog.
See? I don't know. Lost in the Fog.
Made money on Best Actor.
Okay, I'm sorry, honey.
Now Sylvian says the best actors, though, Sandy, is Ron Jeremy.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, Lady Eli for Chad Brown. That was one of my favorites.
You like that one?
Love that horse. Yes. Oh man, did I love that horse. Yeah. She was Lady Eli, great horse. Almost died, came back. Great horse when she came back.
Loved Will Take Charge.
Oh, We'll Take Charge and Oxbow, two of my all-time
Oh, I
favorites.
loved Oxbow.
Loved it both. We'll Take Charge. Such a beautiful,
Oh,
beautiful.
monster.
My goodness.
Yeah.
First derby I ever watched as a kid, Sunday Silence.
There you go.
Matoli, he's got a picture of Matoli up his off. He was freaking cool.
Oh, yeah.
Lava Man, absolutely. Loved
Yeah.
Lava Man. Really loved Essential Quality. I
Cool.
ended up seeing that horse run so many times live last year. His Travers win was awesome. Belmont, watching him and Hot Rod Charlie down the stretch of the Belmont was fantastic. That was so much fun last year.
What's the greatest race you've ever seen?
Greatest race.
Oh, it's easy for me.
Go ahead.
Zenyatta in the Breeders' Classic went in that, coming from way off the pace and going through 10 horses and weaving in and out of there.
Yeah, that's
the
certainly
greatest race I've ever seen.
It's a hard question because there's
I know you've seen so many.
American Pharoah when he won the Triple Crown was the greatest.
You were there, and I remember watching on TV. That was pretty exciting.
That's the greatest sporting event, racing sporting event, maybe
That was really cool.
all around ever.
Well, Sylvan, nobody mentioned Secretariat, probably because we didn't see him in person.
There's a couple here that have kind of Beholder for Dennis. Beholder versus Songbird was an incredible.
Songbird was great.
It was incredible when that happened. Nobody mentioned Secretariat, and then right after that, great timing for Vicky. She mentioned Secretariat, Ruffian, Rachel Alexandra, Zenyatta, Gunrunner, very underrated. Gunrunner, yes.
Hey, I tell you, of course, that swept the nation for a while that we kind of forget about, and that's Mind That Bird.
Mind That Bird was very popular. Yep, very popular, and then not. This horse right here, Arrogant. And again, what's happened with Baffert has kind of sucked. But this horse, when he was right,
yes,
holy shit. The first, Arrogant probably my fifth. The first ever Pegasus. We were there. It was Arrogant versus California Chrome. Of course, they just had ran in the Classic, and it was very close. Arrogant won. I can only think of a couple of times where a horse has made the first step of his move, and I knew the race was over. That was Arrogant in the Pegasus. We were standing there, and we were tracking him because we had picked and bet him. And he literally lifted his foot for the first time to make his move. I looked at Jared and said, this baby is over. It's done. Forget it. He goes, what are you talking about? I said, it's over. Yeah. There's no way. He's firing, and there's nobody that can beat him. And he just beat the hell out of him.
And there's very few like that.
And I tell you what, talking about Gunrunner, Vicky, another moment where I looked at Jared and said, it's over. Pegasus, he drew all the way to the outside. He should have been 1-9 against that field. Everybody made a huge deal about him drawing outside, and he ended up being even money. He broke it in 2 jumps. He was on the rail and ahead. I looked at Jared, it's over. Race is over. There's no way he's losing from there.
Yeah.
In 2 seconds, it went from he'll get hung wide on that turn to he's hugging the rail and 2 ahead of everybody. It was incredible.
His 4-year-old campaign, oh, man.
Yep.
He was hard to beat. He was really good.
Yeah.
And he's producing some colts and some fillies now. You know, he's going to be an interesting stallion to watch.
Yeah, a little bit. Taba, not bad. So, Vic said, greatest race you ever saw live, Songbird versus Holder, and it was something to behold.
Yeah.
Pun intended. It was, I was standing right on the right on the wire with Jared. I think Jared and Ryan Stillman were he was with us, and Ryan, if you know Ryan, he's just going out of his mind, and I'm like, I don't know who won, and there's not many times where I sure as hell didn't know who won until they put the photo up. And it was awesome. The whole stretch they battled. It was great. Yeah.
Last year I had the pleasure, speaking of live, you've seen a lot more live ones than I have, of Monomoy Girl, Swiss Skydiver, and Latruska in the Apple Blossom at Oaklawn. That was fantastic. That was just a treat just to see those 3. And, you know, Latruska was overlooked between those 2, you know, and that horse, Latruska is starting to rank up there, don't you think?
Yeah, oh, no doubt, no doubt.
You saw that Magic Carrots is he's okay.
Sorry, yes. Let me just say I agree about the Latruska comment.
Yeah.
She's certainly starting to rank right up there with some of
Yep.
the best ones. But Magic Carrot chimes in as Papa Dude's trying to be serious. Magic Carrot chimes in. I had the pleasure of watching Seabiscuit ... in the theaters. It's funny.
Oh,
Chris says bricks and mortar, and he was cool. Yeah, I got to see him in the Arlington Million. Chris says absolutely incredible. Yeah, that was a great race. We watched him on Belmont Day up there in the Manhattan, and then at the Breeders' Cup. Yeah, he was awesome.
this is it's just thinking of the horses that you've seen.
Oh, it's
there's just so many. I'm sure I'm going to think of 2 or 3, and I'm going to get pissed I didn't think of them.
Yeah. Wise Dan, watching him, he was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Speaking of Songbird, I went up and watched her in the Alabama, and it was an exhibition. There was nobody there, but man, oh man, it was awesome. There's so many people at Saratoga that day. It was just fantastic. Yeah.
Sandy, when you went to the track first time, what were you, about 24?
That would have been 2007. 24. Yeah.
It seemed to me like you were a lot younger than that.
Or 23. 23 or 24. Yeah.
It had been 23, I think. It seems like you were a lot younger than that to me. That was quite a day.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Curlin winning that race. That was unbelievable to watch.
Well, you loved Win Willie.
Win Willie when he won that the Rebel and the Oaklawn Handicap. Yeah, Win Willie.
Well, he was a cool horse. Remember, you had to put him in head first into the paddock.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Down there. He went in. He didn't like it.
Yep.
He was cool. Alternation, you forgot him. You guys followed that horse everywhere there for a while.
Yeah, Alternation and Caleb's Posse, 2 horses we loved. Alternation, we were in his winner circle picture when he won the Oaklawn Handicap. Every year, every time we went to Oaklawn that year, we went back and pet him. I mean, we loved him.
He was
Caleb's Posse. That was just fantastic.
Mandy, I'll answer that question for you. She says, "Do you think it's good for teens to go?" I don't see a problem with it at all. In fact, we need younger people to get involved in horse racing. It's just if they're interested in it, for sure. I think they'll love it.
You can never. I will never say no to that.
Now, I think young kids get bored.
Yeah, but I mean, the racetrack is just, to be serious, like without the racetrack, I have no idea where I would be, what I would be doing.
Oh, I know.
There's just, I'll never say no to is it good for people to go to the racetrack? Like, yes, it's always good.
Definitely. And you take someone that's 16, 17, 18 years old, they're mature enough to now. Yeah. You got to let them bet. You know, they can't go in and bet. You got to go in there and bet for them. But yeah. And she says it teaches math. Well, it kind of does.
It does. Yeah. Somewhat.
Well, it's pretty but now the racetrack, there's certain elements of it you might want to keep a kid away from, but most of it.
I mean, you think about it. Most of the time, you can just go outside if it's nice, and you're kind of in your own little world, you know.
Or at Oaklawn, you go upstairs and sit, and it's great.
Yeah.
I like it either way at Oaklawn. I've got to do a little bit of both. I can't just sit upstairs all day. I got to go down and see the horses because I get so much of a pleasure out of that. If we go 2 days, I like to sit upstairs one day and outside the next, if the weather's good.
Yeah. Let's see. 1973 at Woodbine. Sydney's talking about secretariats race.
Is that right?
Yeah. Wow. He went up to Woodbine. I think that was he ran on the turf up there. Yeah.
That was a good movie.
Secretariat? Yeah.
Yes, I like that.
It was good. Good. See, Dennis has got a signed pair of goggles from Rafael Bejarano when he was 4.
Yeah.
And so there you go. That's cool.
That's pretty cool.
Nacho cheese on his shirt.
He remembers he had nacho cheese on his shirt.
At 4 years old.
I thought he had it on the other day at 25.
That's why he quit. He was mad. He had his cheese on his shirt. Listen, that's the thing. We sat here and not just you and I, but all these people, beautiful people, I should say, that are with us.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just going one after the other, talking about, oh, can you enter this and this? And we were at the track for this. So I think that best answers the question. When you're a teen, sure, go. I mean, don't take a 2-year-old, but
no, because they get bored.
Yeah, but I mean, you never know. They may, and you may take somebody and they don't like it, and that's fine.
Well, I'll tell you a quick story too. We were down to Oakland the other day, and we're upstairs, and there was a mom with like 4 little kids sitting there between the ages of 2 and 10, and grandma's there too. Well, grandma's got the form, man, and she is handicapping, and she is serious, and these kids are just running rampant in that place. And pretty soon she said something to the mom, and I looked up, and those kids were gone. They're just too young. It's too much time in between, and they get bored. So
that's a good point too. If you're thinking about taking even a small child to Saratoga, you could do it there. There's so much for them to do. Yeah.
See that? I don't know if you can see that or not.
Yeah. Steve Asmussen and yourself. There you go.
Look at stupid me. I kept the mask on. Was that not the dumbest thing you've ever seen in your life?
That's dumb.
I forgot to take the mask off when I had a picture made with Steve, with Asmussen. And that was so funny that day too. Sandy embarrassed the heck out of me, but it was pretty cool anyway. Anyhow.
You and Evil Steve taking selfies with everybody in the world there. So.
That was then me and Evil Steve went in with Brad Cox, and we got that somewhere. I don't
know. And that's the final thing I'll say about this. That's the great thing about horse racing. If you like these people, if you want to meet these people, you want to talk to them, you can do it. You're not going to the Bulls game in the 90s and getting a selfie with Michael Jordan.
No. Well, he's an asshole anyway, but you're not.
Hey, I went to the Blues game a couple of weeks ago. I didn't get any selfies with any of those players.
You know what, though? If you knew where to hang around afterwards, I bet you could have. They're pretty good. Those hockey players are pretty good about dealing with the fans. But you're right. These guys will. Now you gotta kind of pick your spots. You gotta make sure they're not stressed or they're busy or they don't want that. But he just came walking right out, walked right beside me, and was just. He wouldn't do that if he didn't want somebody to say something to him. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. Papa dude, you need a new frame. You didn't like your frame.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Mark talking about getting to meet people. Dwayne Lucas, Matt Burrell, Asmussen, Pletcher's autograph, etc.
Yeah. One more thing, and then we got to go.
Okay,
I want to mention this because you posted it on Twitter today. That you saw how'd you remember this? You saw your first hockey game 29 years ago today.
Yep.
How'd you know that?
This account, this Blues account, they this day in Blues history. That's what they do. They just tweet out this day in Blues history. And today they tweeted that out.
Oh, they tweeted the game out.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought they tweeted out that you were there. That was so cool. That game was, yes.
It's
remember we went up to just watch the Braves play the Cardinals because you and I was too, but you were more a huge Atlanta Braves fan because back in those days the Braves were on TV every night on TBS and they were really good and you loved them, so we went up and that was fun itself because you got to go down. We had pretty good seats down in the that would be the left field line, and at that time the bullpen was down the line, and they were John Smoltz and who else is your favorite? Steve Avery and
John Smoltz, Steve Avery, Greg Maddox, Tom Glavine.
Yeah, they were down there warming up, and you went right down there beside them, and that was really cool.
Yep. But the highlight, we just happened to go on over. I had never seen a hockey game, never watched a hockey game, not telling on television or anything, knew nothing about it. Yeah, April 25th, 1993. The Blues sweep the Chicago Blackhawks, a 4-3 overtime win. I've got it up on the screen now if you're watching.
Yeah.
And,
well, that was funny too. We went to the ball game, I think, on Friday night and messed around on Saturday, and the Blues had played on Friday night.
Yeah.
And they'd won, and Game 4 was on Sunday. So I thought, well, we better go to that. And I remember we went and got tickets, and God, the game, it couldn't have been any better game.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was. Yep. I think we got the last 2 seats in the arena that day, though.
Yep.
We were
way up high. The goal was scored. The last goal here, they're showing it again, was scored on our end, at least. Yeah. We're up in the end. And I mean, that was it. It's so funny. I was sitting at a bar before the Western Conference Game 6 last year, and this old guy was going to the game too. He goes, hey, when I first got to St. Louis, let me tell you about a game that happened against the Chicago Blackhawks when we swept them. I first moved to St. Louis, and I went to that game. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, they beat them 4-3 in overtime. I said, well, that was my first Blues game too. And so we reminisced about that.
That was, yeah. That was in the old arena.
Yep.
And a lot of us that had the opportunity to go there, we missed that building. That was, you could feel that building shake. Yeah. You really could. They needed a new one, but that was a cool place to go watch hockey. Those old hockey arenas, you can't hardly beat them.
Yep, it was a great time and a great game. Like I said, the Blues win 4-3. They lost the next round to Toronto, but it was competitive. But anyway, that was the really start of it right there. Yeah. Good times.
And Sylvan mentions that for Canadians, they lost 2 great hockey players this week, Guy Lafleur and Mike Bossy, 2 legends in the hockey world, especially Lafleur.
Yep. It's but that's what old people do.
That's tell me about it.
That's they say on Wedding Crashers. That's what not Wedding Crashers, old school. That's what old people do.
Yeah.
All right, we'll end it on a positive note.
That was very positive. I thought this show went really well until we started talking about old people dying.
Right. Yeah. Well, Sylvian brought it up. So
let's blame him.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. All right, here's what's going on. Tomorrow, well, kind of a day off for us. But
really?
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, live shows coming up. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, Kentucky Derby live shows. This show will be on Thursday. Magic Mike on Thursday. Bleakers off on Thursday. But again, live Kentucky Derby shows on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then again on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of the next week. So we got a lot going on. Latest Kentucky Derby news. We're on it. Trust us. We will have it covered. If anything happens, tune in to us. We'll have you covered. I promise.
They have a pipeline right to the Kentucky Derby office.
That's right. We know what's happening. So we've
do.
Got an eye on everything. Don't worry about it. We've got you covered. So, all right, guys. Thanks as always for tuning in. All your questions. We appreciate it.
They're going to make up a story if they don't have one.
That's right. Yes, but we're not to that point yet. But by next week, we might have that. So they need to draw this race.
They do.
I'm getting sick of this. All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Like I said, Derby, look out. YouTube stuff. We got all kinds of shit going on. So thank you all again, and we'll see you right back here on this show on Thursday.
This has been a presentation of RacingDudes.com, your destination for all things horse racing and sports betting. Whether you want free winners, expert insider picks, up-to-the-minute trackside weather reports, or podcasts and videos for bettors of all skill levels, never make another wager without visiting the Racing Dudes. First,